Good morning, Subasing Gurung. I'm at your home this morning. Today is 18th of December 2010. Early in the morning, I'm here because I want to know something about yourself, what you did before you joined in the British Army, and yourself and your fathers and your village. Could you clarify about this, please?
Namaste to all the listeners. Thank you, Bishanji. First of all, I would like to thank you and you team for coming early in the morning at my home. To say about my own self, I'm originally from Akrang, which is in Ssgt Jilla of Nepal. I was born in that village. As my father was also a former Gurkha soldier, when he retired from the British Army, we moved to Pokhara, a place called Rambajar. When we were in Pokhara, Rambajar, I studied in a school called Amar Singh Madhyamik Vidyalaya, and I think it was around 1979 that I was inspired by my father and my friends and relatives to join the British Army. Therefore, after that, I applied to be a recruit of the Brigade of Gurkhas, and luckily I was succeeded and I joined the British Army in 1979. My father, who also served in the Brigade of Gurkhas in Ssgt, he was retired as a rank of corporal. And I have my brother and sister. My brother also joined the British Army.
Well, Subasing, how you gotta impress yourself to join in British Army?
Well, I think I answered that question already. That I was inspired by my father and my relatives and friends. Therefore, I joined the army.
Could you explain about your journey from the Pakli to the destination where you have done training?
It's a very interesting story, to be honest, because I was so inspired and I was so keen to join the British Army that I attended several times. It wasn't very easy joining the British Army, as you know. I was succeeded in third attempt, which was a bit unfortunate, but luckily I made it in third attempt, and because the test was so tough. However, I was succeeded in 1979. What was the other question, please?
What was your regiment and regiment number, and what was your job there?
Okay. After I joined the British Army in Pokhara, we were flown to Hong Kong in, I think, toward the end of 1979, and we did our basic training, which was for about 6 months. And my regiment was already, identified in Pokhara. So after the recruitment training, I joined the now it's called QOGLR, but since at that time the name was GTR, Gurkha Transport Regiment. So after completion of that 6-month basic training, I joined the QOGTR, and I was posted to 31 Squadron GTR. Since joining the GTR, I went to driving training, and after successfully completing the journey.
Right. Okay. Then what was your primary tasks day by day while you was on your battalion? That was the GTR, Gurkha Transport Regiment.
Which you have already mentioned is the QOGLR, is the Transport Regiment. Transport Regiment is the element of the unit that supplies logistic support to all the regiment and battalions. So I was part of the regiment, and my job was to deliver all the logistics to the various units while I was in the GTR.
Right. Did you get any chances to go some the battlefield or somewhere else on big training such as the exercise, something like that?
Yes, I did. I had many good memories. Talking about, firstly, I would like to talk about the training, and then after I'll move to the operation side. Training, yes, I did various training while in the army. I attended many exercises, not only in Hong Kong, as in abroad as well. Mentioning about abroad, I did some jungle training in Brunei, and also took part in exercise called can't remember the names at the moment. Anyway, so I also had opportunity to go to New Zealand and took a part in a big exercise with the 2nd Gurkhas with the Cheshire Regiment. After and then during that my time in Hong Kong, I attended many courses, many trainings. It was towards the 1990 that I was in long live in Nepal, that Iraq invaded Kuwait, and then I learned from the area welfare officer in Pokhara that my regiment wanted me to come back to join the regiment to go on operation to Kuwait, which I did. So I think that was very one of the very interesting time I had, because within 24 hours I was in Hong Kong wearing my uniform and getting ready to go in Iraq, because the regiment was preparing to deploy to Operation 2. By then I was a sergeant, so as soon as I arrived in Hong Kong, the regiment commanding told me that I've been selected to go in the war to fulfill a role of platoon sergeant in Yankee troop of 28 Squadron GTR. So my job was basically to look after all these kids and the soldiers' welfare. And we did various familiarization of various training prior to moving to UK and then to Kuwait.
Right. What type of training did you took before you taking a part in such as the battlefield area?
Well, I think we took it the regiment took it very seriously about the NBC threat, because by then the world knew that world knew that Iraq had some nuclear, biological, and chemical warfare. So we went on a very vigorous training preparing for that threat. That was a very serious training in NBC training. Apart from that, the normal soldiering job was as normal. So I think we went various training, not only the nuclear, biological, and chemical war, and the physical side as well, because we were heading for a place where the weather was completely different than we used to have in Hong Kong.
Right. Do you remember which year have you been to this battlefield area, and could you tell me your structure in that time? How many battalions are taking part with the Gurkha brigade?
Okay, the role of my regiment was the medic ambulance, because we were called 20th Ambulance Squadron. Our task was to supply medical support for the teeth arm, which was the 7th Brigade, as well known as a desert rat. So our role was to provide medical support and drive ambulances, and we had, we were solely a squadron of QOGLR, and we had some members of the Brigade of Gurkhas, i.e. band of the Brigade Gurkhas, who came to support us because they were fully medical trained. On top of that, we also had the bands of the Royal Green Jacket, and this was in 1991. As far as I remember, we left Hong Kong for United Kingdom, and we were stationed in Ssgt. And in Ssgt, we did again the similar training in preparing for deployment to Iraq.
Right. How did you travel to Gulf from the Ssgt?
Well, actually, we went by air to a place called Al-Jubal in Saudi Arabia.
And could you tell me about the journey from Ssgt to the Gulf desert area and what you did on that time?
Well, the journey wasn't that pleasant, to be honest, because we are quite young and we're a bit anxious that we didn't know what we were going to face actually in the war. So yeah, there was some sort of pressure because we wanted to keep and preserve the battalion's name as well as the Brigade of Gurkhas. So yeah, we were quite under pressure at that time. And when we got to the other end, and the weather was completely unfriendly to us because it's a desert, as you know. Soon we arrived in Al-Jubal. We went and picked up our whole army equipment, trucks, Land Rovers, medics, and so on. And then we again, when we deployed to the various locations.
What was your main role on the battlefield that time, and which supporting battalion involving with your squadron or regiment?
My job was to look after the soldiers under my command, where about 58 soldiers were there altogether. And in regiment side, we were part of the 7 Armored Brigade, and the brigade was commanded by Brigadier Patrick Cordingley, and we also had the member of the Brigade of Gurkhas who were medical trained, and the band of the Brigade of Gurkhas.
All right. And what did you impress that time, and that was your feeling? Could you tell me on the spot of the war?
Well, I think we had 3 troops: X-ray troop, Yankee troop, and Zulu troop. After the battle, when we returned to our base, the member or the soldier of my platoon was very healthy and all smiling because we did fantastic job. We didn't lose anyone, and they all looked really well compared to other troops, because some were saying that I looked after them really well, even in the war, not only in the peace.
Right. Could you tell me about the weather of that time, and have you seen such as the real incident, and you have carried the situation on that time?
The weather was very unpredictable, because daytime we used to have poor visibility because of the wind and sand blowing on your face. And at night, and the temperature drops down rapidly, and it's completely cold, and you cannot. It was very difficult with that unpredictable weather, and weather-wise. And
and what was the actual role? Means you have seen any casualties?
Yes, we did. I mean, we lost a member of the regiment. Unfortunately, in war, these sort of things do happen. One of the soldiers from the logistic regiment, not from our squadron, was blown out by the bomb. Which was his ambulance was about 4 Land Rover ahead of me, and he died instantly there. It was it wasn't very pleasant scene, to be honest. And yeah, we did see a lot of Iraqi casualties, and we captured many of them, and there were many dead bodies lying around in the trenches and along the route. There were some very unpleasant scenes.
Right. Hearing and seeing that incident, what you feel and what was your action or reaction at that time?
Well, to be honest, I did feel very sorry for those people who died, because we are human beings. But on the other hand, because we were there for good cause, because we wanted to bring the peace in the world. And that's why I was really happy that we did very good to keep the world in peace.
Right. How long you stay on that battlefield area, and when you back to your regiment?
We spent nearly about 3 months in Operation Theatre.
Have you got any such as the action which you can never forget?
Yes, I do. There are actually two incidents that I will, which are stuck in my mind. One of them is myself been asked to go to the division headquarters. I believe the regiment commander or the commandant was really pleased with my contribution to that battlefield, that the commandant wanted me to go and work as a liaison officer in the division headquarters. So as soon as I received the order from the headquarters, the soldiers of my squadron and the regiment were not happy, and because they wanted me desperately in the regiment, but I had already received the instruction to move to the division headquarters. So I was preparing to leave the base, and then suddenly we had to move, because the war had already started, and then just prior to moving to the division headquarters, we had to advance. We had to leave the base. So we kept on moving. So we only stopped right after the ceasefire, which was the 3rd of March 1991. So if I had been able to go to the division headquarters, things probably would have been different, because later on I found out from the commandant that there was a very strong possibility of me, achieving some sort of recognition of my work, which only was disclosed after the war by my commanding officer. And secondly, second incident was very frightening. It was right after the ceasefire that we were on our way back to Saudi Arabia, a place called Al Jubail, and then as a platoon sergeant, I was in the second last vehicle of the convoy, and then as we were driving, and I saw one Land Rover involved in an accident with this civilian vehicle, and he was covered with blood, and I myself had some knowledge on medical ground or first aid, so I applied the first aid to that casualty and managed arrest bleeding, and my troop kept on moving, so I was left behind on my own to deal with this casualty, and suddenly I realized that I should inform to the platoon commander. So I left my driver to move forward and inform the convoy that I'm assisting the casualty. Suddenly the the other civilian who was involved in the accident found an opportunity to attack me, and I didn't have any bullet on me. I had the rifle because we were returning from the war, and all the bullets were already handed back to the quartermaster. And that was very scary movement. It was dark early and it was about 5 o'clock in the morning. All the soldiers had already moved. It was on my own. Luckily, when they advanced at me, suddenly my driver got back, and then after we dealt with that. And these are the two incidents that stuck in my mind. I think will be in my mind for forever.
Right. Well, when you succeed the tour of your squadron on the Gulf area, after that you have back to Ssgt, whatever in the Hong Kong, and what you feel yourself after the war?
The moment was very happy and very exciting. We were well greeted by the resident battalion in Ssgt. There was a big big welcome organized in Ssgt. It was very exciting, and the same that when we went to Hong Kong, the regiment really welcomed us after achieving the aim.
After that, how long you have served in British Army and when you retired?
Well, I retired in 1996, so roughly about 4 or 5 years I served after the war.
Right. After successful the British Army life, then what you did when you back to your country?
Well, I mean, to be honest, I wasn't expecting to leave the army so early in 1996 because I thought I would have more opportunity to serve a little bit longer, but it didn't happen. So I was, to be honest, I was shocked to leave the army in 1996, especially the way I performed in Operation Tour in Iraq and in Cyprus, because right after the Iraq war I went to Cyprus in a United Nations force. However, then after leaving the army in 1996, I had some sort of desire, or I had some objective that I wanted to achieve in my life. So I made a plan, and then I well executed that plan, and that plan was to come to UK, United Kingdom. So I think it was in June 1996 that I retired from the regiment while the regiment was in Hong Kong. But by September, within 3 months, I came to London after sorting out all this immigration matter. Which was again was very tough and difficult to get that pre-movement, so-called, to come in this country, which was again a very outstanding achievement that I think in my life, being able to come to this country right after leaving the army.
Right. What you doing here in the UK, and what is the tasks, and how you coping your life?
Well, after arriving here in UK, it was completely different environment, because serving in the army for 19 years, and suddenly you come out on the sea beach. It was everything new for me. Everything was a challenge for me. However, I dealt with all those challenges, and have been giving my time to develop the community. So I been involved in many communities, developing the communities here in the UK, including my own community called Tamil in UK. Besides that, I also supported other communities, and I also served in the executive committee in other communities like 18 Nepali Association. 18 Nepali Association was the one of the oldest Nepali association, was formed about I think 50 years ago, and I serve in that community, in that executive committee, and serve to the committee.
Right, Subasing Gurung, thank you very much for giving your valuable time today, and best luck and good wishes during this Christmas time, and Happy New Year 2011. Thank you.
And I would also like to thank the Gurkha Heritage Project for giving me this opportunity to share my days of my life in the Brigade of Gurkhas and the British Army. I would also like to wish you a success in your project. Thank you.